Hey guys, it's SimpleAttack here, and today we're going over that time I was reincarnated as a slime, all the characters from that show that are in the 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross. So, if you're playing global at this current stage, you'll actually know that these characters are just coming out. If you're a veteran JP player, then you'd probably remember them from back then. But with that out of the way, let's get into Slime Rimuru. This one I'm pretty sure we get for free if you play during the event time period, whether it's just through the story, but he's also in the summoning banner. He's definitely the easiest one to get as he's the only SR. So, first things first, skills. Aqua Blade. Removes buffs from one enemy and inflicts damage equal to 200% of attack. Then at rank 2, going up to 300% of attack. And then at rank 3, cancels buffs and stances of one enemy and inflicts damage of 400% of his attack. Then with his next skill, you have Full Potion. At rank 1, heals HP of one ally up to 300% of attack. At rank 2 and 3, heals HP of one ally equal to 300% of attack and grants debuff immunity for 2 turns. Being so far one of the few characters that I actually know that will do the exact same thing at rank 2 and 3. With his ultimate Black Lightning, inflicting damage equal to 630% of attack to one enemy and depletes ultimate gauge by 3. The multiplier being 63%, giving it the possible max output of 945% damage to one enemy, which for an SR and a quite easily attainable one, if you play during this event period, a realistic expectation. Then we also have his passive, Lord of the Jura Forest. Heals 5% of all allies diminished HP at the start of every turn, which overall makes him a decent sub-slot. His associations are Meliodas and Elizabeth, Meliodas giving attack, and then Elizabeth giving resistance. But that just about does it for the Slime Boy. Let's get into Ruler of Monsters, Rimuru. So this obviously being Rimuru in his human form, with his skills Indigo Flower. At rank 1, inflict Rapture damage equal to 180% of attack to one enemy, Rapture being deals 2 times damage to buffed enemies. Then at rank 2, going up to 270%, and at rank 3, 450%. Then with Drop Deepen, this is a stance. This stance grants debuff immunity for 1 turn and heals 20% of diminished HP at the start of next turn. From rank 2, assume stance which grants debuff immunity and taunts enemies for 1 turn, heals 30% of diminished HP at the start of next turn. And at rank 3, it does everything as the previous one stated, except it's for 2 turns, and it heals 50% of HP at the start of next turn. Then we get Master of Monster Rimuru's ultimates, and this one actually has a combined ultimate. So his single ultimate is Gluttony, cancels debuffs and stances of one enemy, inflicts damage equal to 490% of attack, then stuns for 1 turn. This with a multiplier of 49%, with the max multiplier of 735%, but if you do the combined attack with Meliodas, Indiscriminate Absorption, this again does the exact same thing, but at 560%, and with a multiplier of 56%, giving you the max total of 840%. Then we have his passive, which is Storm Dragon's Friend. Increase defense-related stats by 8% at the start of next turn if a hero takes damage limit 5 times. This giving Rimuru the possibility towards the end of battle having 40% of his defense-related stats increased, which overall makes this a very tanky type unit. His associations are Meliodas giving attack, Gotha giving pierce rate, and then Elizabeth giving resistance. Ooh, quick backtrack because I missed it last time. The Slime Rimuru also associates with Malim and Benimaru, both doing crit damage. Same with this Rimuru. But moving on from Rimuru, we have Kaijin Benimaru. His skill Fire Slash inflicts weak point damage equal to 110% of attack to one enemy, weak point damage, times 3 damage against debuffed enemies. From rank 2, it goes up to 165% damage, and then at rank 3, going up to 275% damage. This goes really well with his debuff skill, Dragon Strike, decreasing defense-related stats of all enemies by 20% for 2 turns. At rank 2, going up to 30%, and then rank 3, going up to 40% and for 3 turns. Benimaru's ultimate is Hell Flare. Inflicts damage equal to 560% of attack on one enemy, decreases skill ranks, then depletes the ultimate gauge by the number of skill ranks decreased. This with a multiplier of 56 and getting the max total of 840. Benimaru's passive is Abdominal Pride. Increases damage dealt by 3% per hero skill used, a limit 10 times, so being able to get increased damage up to 30% towards a longer battle. His association list is remarkably smaller than Rimuru, but he has Rimuru that can give him an attack bonus. He has Barn who can give him a regen bonus. And lucky last but not least, we have Malim Navar, the Tyrant of Destruction. With her first attack skill being Firestorm, inflicts spike damage equal to 160% on one enemy, spike damage being ×2 crit damage increased, and then at rank 2 going up to 240%, and at rank 3 going up to 400%, so she can hit very hard. And then with her second skill, Knife Wind, which is a debuff skill, inflicting 60% of attack to one enemy, disables ultimate gauge moves for one turn. At rank 2, jumping up to a whopping 200%, and then at rank 3, staying at 200%, then the ultimate gauge is disabled for 2 turns instead of just the one. Then with her ultimate skill, Dragon Buster, it inflicts detonate damage equal to 350% of attack on all enemies. Detonate being 50% additional damage per orb in target's ultimate gauge. Her attack multiplier is 350%, giving her a max total of 525%, but with that extra 15% per orb, she can still get some pretty big numbers out. With her passive being the only Dragonoid, increases crit damage by 8% per hero skill used, limit 10 times. So she gets an 80% bonus with her crits. This mixed with her Firestorm attack being insane crit damage. When she's partnered up with Rimuru in her associations, her crit damage is increased. But if you want to go for a more defensive build, you can partner up with Diane, increasing defense. So that will do us for today's look at the 7 Deadly Sins slime crossover characters. Hopefully you guys pull them. My thoughts on these units is I personally love them. They're not extremely usable towards a bit later in the game when a lot more content gets released. However, I do find them fun, especially as a collector's item. I personally got them all on Global and JP, so I'd really recommend you do the same because as far as we know, these guys are never coming back. So if you didn't get them on JP, unlucky. And if you're playing Global right now, best get summoning, guys. Anyway, I'll catch you in the next video.